Hello, this is Joanne Victoria with another edition of the Sanity Project podcast, specifically for IT professionals whose work-life balance plans has imploded. We're here to provide solutions that will help the IT pro live a sane life. Our guest today, and I'm so happy to have her, is Andrea Amador. Andrea is the juicy woman. She's a curvy and confident plus-size woman who gains weight and loses weight and teaches others how to accept the body image that they have. Andrea works with professional women who struggle with compulsive eating and hating their bodies and teaches them how to transform their feelings of self-hatred, shame, guilt, and fear into self-compassion, pride, and kick-butt confidence. Welcome, Andrea.
Hello, Joanne. How are you?
I'm great. I'm glad that you're here today.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Well, I look at what you've said here about how women especially feel shamed about the way they look. And how do you help these women?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I grew up feeling ashamed of the way that I look for so many years, all the way through adulthood. So I understand body shame deeply. And I only came to a point of being able to change the way that I thought when I finally realized that the cranky, angry, critical voice inside my head wasn't my own. And I had a choice. I could either choose to follow that criticism and anger, or I could start changing the way that I talk to myself. And once I started changing the way that I talk to myself, it just completely snowballed into this new level of confidence and compassion that I never had before because, it was my father's voice. He meant well at the time, but I had a lot of his hurtful rhetoric going on in my head. And all of the things that he told me, wanting to help me to lose weight when I was a kid, stuck with me and really burned my confidence. So I realized that I didn't have to keep walking through life with these painful memories of, somebody else's opinion about my value and my body. And when I started to really internalize that, that's when things changed in a very big way.
Well, I see that you're a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. Some may know it as NLP. And has that helped you in any way to increase your confidence and ignore the voice within, that negative voice within?
Absolutely. In fact, that was happening at exactly the same time. Back in 2004, when I became a coach, I was taking the NLP training. And NLP is really kind of like brain candy. If you think about being able to change the way that you think of a situation in your life that you feel is painful and sour and brings you a lot of sadness, and realizing, wow, look at what a survivor I am. Look at how I've come out of this and all the lessons that I've learned. So yes, NLP is amazing in being able to change the way that you think about things. So
I know you use your storytelling and authenticity and expertise to empower women to love the skin they're in. Can you give me an example of how you've done that recently or how you do that?
Yes. As a matter of fact, one of my stories is about to be published in Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Wow.
I'm so excited. And it's about a time when I was in Lane Bryant. And it was just at the time when I had come into a place where I was saying, wait a minute, yeah, okay, I have fat arms, but you know what? They're beautiful because that's me. So I was going to Lane Bryant, and I was going not just to get another pair of elasticized, waistband pants. I actually started looking at the mannequins and saying, wow, okay, maybe I could put that together. And I looked at the jewelry and the way things look. And at the same time, I was watching the What Not to Wear. And I was starting to become more aware of fashion and how things looked. So I was feeling like a little bit excited about my body. I was preparing for a vacation, went to Lane Bryant, and that day I was wearing a cute little peasant blouse, and I pulled down the elasticized neckline to expose my shoulder line. And it looked really cute. And a woman saw me and she said, wow, you look so beautiful in that top. It's so lovely. And I said, well, why don't you get it? It's still here. I bought it here last week. And she said, oh, no, I could never do that because I'm so fat. Look at these fat arms. And I said, you know what? That's just that nasty little inner critic that's inside of you. You are gorgeous. So by the time things ended up, she actually bought another type of blouse that was really beautiful on her that actually showed off her arms.
Well, I always watch the new shows, new TV shows when the new season comes out, because not all of them, but things that I'm attracted to. And
Yes.
two shows that I've noticed that show women that are over a size 2 is The American Housewife and This Is Us. Have you
Yes.
watched those shows?
I have not seen them.
Okay, so on The American Housewife, we probably have, and I'm guessing here, and hopefully she won't call me, the actress, and let me know. She used to be on a show with Melissa McCarthy. Let's say my daughter thinks she's a 22, God only knows.
Okay.
And then on This Is Us, we have an obese woman who probably weighs about 350 or 400 pounds.
Okay.
And this is on broadcast television. This is on the networks. And how do you think that might help the women who, still beat themselves down and up about being, quote unquote, fat or overweight?
I'm so excited by it because at the time, just around when I was starting to, I'm going to say rediscover my body and reappreciate. I know I never did appreciate it. Appreciate my body. Ghost Whisperer was big at the time. So Cameron Manheim, another large actress, she was on and she was playing a very strong character. So I think overall, plus size women who have these strong roles is it's an incredible confidence booster because when you can see someone who has your type of shape, who embodies a level of confidence that you don't yet have, it gives you something to aspire to.
Well, my experience in coaching women in the IT professionals arena is that a lot of them, because we touch on it, have put on weight when they get these jobs. These jobs are high stress. These jobs are sedentary for the body. They don't run around a lot. And many of them, and I think they must have this is my guess, they must have an initial issue with weight to begin with, to be putting on 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds in a short period of time. And my feeling is as though you've touched on it, as these women are disempowered and they don't know what to do. How can you help them?
Well, this is deeply personal in terms of my story because when I moved here, I moved about 45 miles further north of where I lived, and now I'm more in the country. I'm very much removed from where I used to be, which was a more suburban area. So, and at the time, I was anticipating my daughter's leaving for the Culinary Institute, and I couldn't stop eating. I was so bereft and so beside myself at the prospect of losing my baby, my best friend, that I just ate and ate and ate and ate. And I teach women EFT and tapping. And the premise of what it is that I teach is to be self-compassionate, to understand that when you are binging, you're in a place where your body is screaming and saying, I'm hurting. I need something. And many times when you're in that vulnerable place, you don't have the strength and the tools to implement what it is that you need. So you have to get out of that window period where you're in pain, where you're overeating, and move past that. Then you can start to become aware, okay, well, what is it that I need? Well, my God, it's like so desolate here. I need, to get out, or I need to get away from the computer. I need to take a walk each day. I need to go out and see my friends. I need to make a phone call. This is something that the professionals really need to keep in mind, because when we're seeking out the comfort of food, it's really just a very poor substitute for something else that's going on. And I'm not maligning that. I'm not saying that they're wrong to be eating, because I did it myself. I ate myself back up the scale, 27 pounds. And as I had said, it's so important to look at this from a frame of reference of the most important thing is to be self-compassionate, to love yourself through this, because no matter if the reason for the weight gain is because they're feeling stressed and they don't know how to deal, or they're frustrated dealing with clients on the phone, or they feel like they're always working and never have any downtime. It's a question of figuring it out little by little, and it's a process. We can't just hack off our arms and legs and say, hey, I lost 50 pounds.
Right.
Because it doesn't work. We have to be compassionate. The only thing is we have to keep true to ourselves and continue to find ways to nurture ourselves from within, and recognize that when that binge is popping up or when that extra weight is popping up, there are such good reasons for it. And
I know that. Yeah,
yes.
the fear, I think the fear comes in first, because that's how the body reacts. I think the mind reacts in fear.
Yes,
because
agree.
of something that that's something you are not you, but we are powerless over or feel powerless over. And then it's, the carbs, the pizza, the cake, whatever. And yes. Then you go, oh God, why did I do that? And then you beat yourself up. I always tell people, get off your own shoulders, because you're beating yourself up by standing on your own shoulders with a whip.
That's so true. Yes.
And then if there is, it's that place from beating yourself up and being afraid to taking action, because action is what you're talking about, be it taking a walk, calling a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or talking to somebody or doing something. You have to change. It's turning that brain into a different direction and
yes.
taking action to do something, whatever it might be. You could lie down and read a book. I don't care. But I think that's what people need to do, is take some action. Now, easier said than done. It's not always, it's like, this is not snap, 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 and you're cured, because we are bombarded in, the media with size zeros comparing to everybody else as the zero is better, or the double zero is better than anything. And I just wonder how their brains function with so little food, but that's just, that's just me.
That is so funny.
I mean, I just don't know how they can not eat and function. Yes. I know they don't have much to do, and, they're not running a business by and large. They're, they're just memorizing lines to give on a TV show or a film. That doesn't require that much. And whoever's listening that doesn't agree with that, whatever.
Yes.
But I saw a woman the other night on, Project Runway now has a fashion aspect where it looks like a takeoff on Shark Tank, where yes. people come in with an idea and they present to several people. And you have the founder of a Birchbox, and you have a couple of other people. And then you have, I think her name is Christine Hunziker, who first created Gwynnie Bee, which was a...
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yes. She's quite smart. I was attracted to her. When I say attracted, I mean her brains.
Yes.
And the way she functions, because the skinny girls, to me, appeared not to function that well at all. They were trying to source the brain power, but she was chop right on it. So, and she's not a big girl. Maybe she's a 10.
Right.
When you're on TV or when you're on film, you look different.
Absolutely.
But she is the confidence of everybody, and I see that, and I know she's just starting new businesses, helping others start their businesses. There was a man on there, and he was just, trying to create debt for one of these new, entrepreneurs. And she said, he's giving you debt. I'm giving you money. There's a difference.
Big difference. Yes.
And he didn't explain it that way. He wasn't clear. And it was like, okay, I'm a girl fan of this woman because she is helping people by telling the truth.
Yes.
And that's pretty much all it is. So the truth is something that you deal with when you're dealing with women who feel, ashamed and guilty and afraid about what they're doing and will it ever end. So how do you, is this make sense to you that you're telling them the truth?
It makes total sense to me. Today I had put up on Facebook a TED Talk by Jessica Weiner talking about the confidence myth. And she's a beautiful plus-size woman who is the global ambassador for Dove brand for self-esteem. And she's talking about how it's such nonsense to just, say, oh, I love myself, I love my body, I'm so fabulous. And generally the images when you Google confidence are like leaping and hands in the air and yes, I did it, that kind of thing. But that's not what it's like. It's really about your own self-discovery and getting through your own stuff, whatever it is. So sometimes confidence is not as, radical and as technicolor as it's made out to be. Sometimes it's just quietly saying no.
Right. I agree with you. I don't think there are enough clear definitions of confidence in images, certainly, and what it truly is. Years ago, I did a workshop, facilitated a workshop. It was called Confidence and Self-Esteem, what they're about, and the differences, because they're very, very different. And having confidence in oneself requires a lot of practice. And, you have to start with baby steps. You have to do what I call Sesame Street first, ABC, your first step, your second step, your third step. And is this how you help people? You help them create a plan?
This is exactly how I help them. Yes, because they come to me thinking that the problem is, their fat thighs or the fact that their belly is, hanging over their jeans or whatever. And then they realize, wow, it's because I've gotten disconnected from my husband and I don't even know if I love him anymore. Mm-hmm. It's that. It's the real stuff in our life that we automatically, without thinking, just go to the ice cream or eat a double plate of pasta because we don't want to deal with the uncomfortable emotions. But when you actually start dealing with those uncomfortable emotions and clearing them away, all of that sense of possibility comes back into your life.
Well, all I know is I can't have any stuff in the house, my house.
Right.
That is my trigger. I have a couple of food triggers, and they're strange and they're odd. One is almond butter, and one is tomato sauce.
Uh-huh.
Because the trigger is, if I have the almond butter, I have to put it on bread, because that's the way I would eat it. Right. Well, I can't eat wheat because it doesn't work for me anymore. And then I can't eat the gluten-free bread because it's like a brick, and that hurts my body. Then we go to the tomato sauce. That means I have to put it on something. Well, I can't eat wheat, so I can't eat lovely pasta, so my Italian background is screwed. So then I go to maybe some rice, brown rice. Well, there's nothing worse than brown rice pasta, because it's not if you're not used to it. So, if you're used to the good stuff, you want the good stuff. So I have to keep these triggers out of my house. I can't have them, because that doesn't mean I don't get them once in a while, but in general, I have triggers that I have to avoid. So before I forget, I want to make sure that I give out your website address, and I will hopefully give it out again at the end of the show. But Andrea's website is www.thejuicywoman.com, and I'm going to spell the main part of it for you. It's the THE juicy JUICY woman WOMAN.com, and her Twitter handle is @thejuicywoman. So keep those, write them down, go to her Twitter, go to her website and read all the gorgeous stuff she has there. She is charming, and I'm enjoying her immensely. So let's look at one of the questions I asked was, what problem will you be solving for large corporations, their employees and workers, and I'm sure it'll help everybody, but they want to live a more peaceful, successful, fun life. So how can you help these women who, go to work, sit at their desk, and eat a pizza for lunch, which is not good for anybody. I don't care what they say.
Right.
So how can you help them?
Well, first, let me just make a comment about what you had said about your discoveries for yourself about food. That's a very empowered place where you are, Joanne.
Okay.
You're in that space where you know that if you eat gluten, it's not good for your body. It's not going to feel good. Mm-hmm. So it means that you're making a choice based on self-care. For you to overeat gluten or do anything like that means that you're going to basically abuse yourself.
Absolutely. And I did. Yes. I have.
Yes.
I have.
So when these
more than once, by the way.
Yes, I know that. But that's what I mean about getting past the beating up on ourselves for the binge, because you're at that place where you're in that self-discovery mode where you've discovered, oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm not going to hurt myself like this anymore. It's so not worth it. So the women who are who are sitting at the computer and they've gained weight and they're feeling bad, the first thing to realize is that self-talk, that little critical inner critic that we all have, it's nonsense. It's not true. Most of the things that it's telling you are criticisms and opinions of other people, and it's stuff that makes you feel bad. So what I really, really encourage my clients to do is to recognize that whatever nurturing they did not receive from others from their past, they're now in a position to give themselves that nurturing.
And, I think with you saying what you're saying and providing this free gift that I'll let you talk about in a moment, you're giving them the opportunity to make a choice to take that first, what I would call the Sesame Street step, that first step, if they haven't already. But a lot of people take the first step over and over again. So that's okay.
That's right.
This is not something that's going to change in my lifetime, maybe even your lifetime. It's not going to convert itself. However, you've got solutions, and that's what I want our listeners to hear about. So what is the one solution that you can offer the listeners today that they can take part of and learn something about themselves?
The biggest solution is to realize the impact of their thoughts. And I have a 12-part e-course that's stripped out over 25 days called Get the Fat Out of Your Head, because the fat is not the problem. It's not the fat on your body. It's the convoluted beliefs that we have, that we think, that we carry, the baggage from our childhood, from our past mistakes, all of that, making us feel like big, fat, stupid losers.
Right. So how do they get this access to this e-course?
Oh, that is my gift through you. So, yes. So I will give you the link. It's this long link that I don't know. Yeah, I will give you that link.
Okay. So I'm telling our listeners that they have to contact me to get the link to this 12-part e-course titled Get the Fat Out of Your Head.
Yes.
Is there any way they can find it on your website?
Oh, certainly. TheJuicyWoman.com.
Okay. So what do? They go to TheJuicyWoman.com. That's JUICYWOMAN.com. And then what?
And then go to coaching. And then it will say, Get the Fat Out of Your Head.
There you go. People have it. Go to TheJuicyWoman.com, click on coaching, and then you will see the link to Get the Fat Out of Your Head to take her 12-part 25-day e-course entitled Get the Fat Out of Your Head. Well, I am thrilled with Andrea Amador, and I'm glad I trusted my intuition in finding you, and I'm glad that you followed up to be a guest on this show. So, is there anything, last words that you have for our listeners?
I think the most important thing is to start to question the beliefs that they have, because many of them are throwbacks from the past, and a lot of times they are not serving you.
Okay,
so
that's it.
We have a choice. Happiness is a choice. We can choose to be happy no matter where we come from, no matter what situation we're in.
I agree with you totally, because I always tell that to my clients and to anybody I know, happiness is a choice. It's not a state of mind that you have to work to get into. Just choose it. If you can choose to cry, you can choose to be happy. Have a great day, Andrea, and I am so happy to have met you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Sanity Project podcast. Please go to AskJoanneVictoria.com and continue the conversation on my podcast page. And get a free copy of my book, The True Self Handbook, a guide to transform your life. That's AskJoanneVictoria.com. Take care, and thanks for being here.